I suppose because when the couple got divorced, they no longer had their financial resources pooled together, that either spouse might be having difficulties making ends meet because now you no longer have both incomes. One very common thing that I have seen focuses on the ex-husband who's been gutted in the divorce. He's paying some very large portion of his income in child support and alimony, what's generically called domestic support in bankruptcy, and he's just got nothing left over. And so I've put guys into Chapter 7 bankruptcies whose incomes have been quite high. And normally they wouldn't fit into a Chapter 7. It's just that they've got these huge domestic support obligations that make it impossible for them to make ends meet. And in fact, occasionally you'll see a guy who's just decided he's not going to work anymore because what's the point? In fact, I think I may have mentioned this in a previous video, but I'm going to mention it again. I knew a guy some years ago who was an attorney, and he was making very good money, worked at a large firm, and he went through a divorce, and his eventually ex-wife gutted him. So here he was making a large salary as an attorney. He was living in a studio apartment. He's working long hours, living in a studio apartment and eating college student food, ramen and so forth. And he thought, there's no point in this. And the ex-wife was adamant she wasn't going to give him any relief at all. So he just stopped working altogether, so she got nothing. He moved in with his girlfriend who was willing to support him. And from that point on, she never got a dime. That is the ex-wife. So that is something that would certainly force a fellow into bankruptcy. And it's also something that a woman who's thinking about divorcing her husband should keep in mind. It's one thing to want reasonable child support and alimony. It's quite another thing to want to tear out the heart of your ex. You might end up with nothing at all. In any event, that's certainly something that comes up. On the ex-wife side, if the ex-wife's income was the smaller income, well, she may be getting child support or alimony, but perhaps the ex-husband is a deadbeat dad who just vanishes into the ether. And so now she doesn't have enough income to be able to make ends meet. She racks up some credit card debt just trying to make a go of it and eventually has to file for bankruptcy. So divorce is not a good thing in so many ways. I realize that there are times where there's something that forces the issue, but certainly financially, it's not going to be the best move simply because of the loss of income and, well, certainly the emotional upheaval that is associated with it.